of, I forgot to mention that not only is this a day of conversation, but this time next year, like we're just kicking this work off where that use tech for good with the digital citizenship, with the civic readiness. But this time next year, our plan is to host a live student showcase so that we can showcase what are our young people doing? Like, what does this look like in communities, you know, obviously in the state of New York, but look at all the international people that are joining us, you know, today. So this could be in a lot of different areas. So Eugenia, I know that you are jumping on to make an introduction. So I'm just wanted to let everybody know that this is just the beginning. Lori did put in the chat. We'd love for you to tell us where you would like to continue this conversation beyond today. Eugenia, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Marilys. And this is totally global. And I'm so excited to present the next session from Inspire Citizens. They are our partners. So if you want to bring the digital citizenship into action, just please stay during this session. Steve Sostak from the Netherlands and Ivy Jan from China. So they are wonderful people that will talk about the eco-photography course that we are hosting together, both digital citizenship and Inspire Citizens. So Steve, Ivy, please.
All right, so thank you guys so much. Can everyone see that screen? Eugenia, that screen is fine. You can see Ivy in my face?
Yeah, totally.
Beautiful. So guys, first of all, thank you so much for the invitation. I'm a little bit jet lagged because I just flew from Beijing to The Hague, where I'm going to be living for the next 3-4 years in my work in the EU. But ostensibly, I am the director of Inspire Citizens, and Ivy is one of my co-facilitators and co-directors of what we're calling at Inspire Citizens Eco-Media. And basically, in a nutshell, what Inspire Citizens does is we work around the world to take ideas of compassion, connection, understanding, and civic action into the classroom, right? And this is pre-K through 12. So the stuff you guys have been talking about is really, it's got me excited. It's got me really just pumped to see what you guys are doing in New York. And I just want to give you guys a lot of gratitude for all the hard work that you guys are doing. Ivy, I'm going to jump kind of right into it because we don't have a lot of time. So Eco-Media is a sort of a pilot piece of Inspire Citizens' bigger picture. So let's just kind of dive right in and start with a little bit about what is eco. Ivy, you ready to roll?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Greetings from Beijing. Ivy here. Nice to meet you all and very glad to be here and, talk about civic readiness and how we can bring it to our classroom. So first of all, eco-media, you may wonder, well, we all know media, right? But why eco-media and what is eco-media? It's quite straightforward, the two images here. On the left, this is something, ego that we are very used to think about us, human beings, we are the most intelligent, and then, we stand above everyone else and, all the other species, right? But actually, the original Greek word of eco, it means home, right? And then nature, our planet Earth, our home, is a home that we shared with, now it's 8 billion human beings on the planet, and also all the other living beings, the different species on the planet Earth. So really, how we can use media to shift our consciousness, from this very egocentric to the eco, where everything is interconnected. And, when we talk about media in the earlier presentation, it was discussed that we all have two roles when we get in touch with media and technology. One, we are consuming the content, right? So we are the consumer. But also on the other hand, every second we are producing, things and pushing things on media like what we are doing now. So then ego media is, is something that might strengthen, our idea that I'm the most important person, my needs goes, it goes first to everyone else. So is our media and technology is used for, the egocentric division and destruction, or can we reimagine and use it, so that can cultivate compassion and understanding that we share, the whole Earth planet with other human beings and other, species. So this is quite vivid, as you can tell from the two images. are we eating this hard, cold brick, that makes our heart, getting harder and harder or closed? Or, are we consuming and producing love and care? And really, we don't normally think, media or technology is the food, right? But literally, it is the food to our mind and to our heart. So what we consume is very, very important. And that's how, we construct the whole eco-media based on these values.
And guys, our main framework that we use across all the work that we do is what we call empathy to impact. So if you follow us on Twitter, for example, we'll hashtag empathy to impact a lot. But basically what it is we say to our teachers and our students, we say, look, what's in your heart, right? What do you care about in the world, your local community, yourself, others, nature, et cetera? That could be sustainable development goals, but it could be more than that. And then we jump often to say, well, what do you want to do with it? Right? What are some types of actions we can take? How do we parlay and leverage our communities, our local communities, to actually partnering and doing something? And then in between, and I heard this already, you can see thinking like a historian, thinking like a botanist, thinking like an environmentalist, thinking like a mathematician. That's where the standards and all of the deeper, connected learning comes in. And it also allows students in a project-based setting to take control of, what hat do they need to wear to make this project or this come to life. And if I'm wearing the teacher hat, how do I design a learning experience that is enhanced by adding that level of heart and that level of hands, right? Because a lot of times we stay in that middle cognitive space, and pushing ourselves beyond that is really key. So in Inspire Citizens Eco Media, what we do is we have different channels. So when I first started this, I was kind of like, well, what if NPR was, I was a middle school teacher, what if NPR was run by kids? And that was kind of where the idea started. And we just started saying, look, there's some great media and technology models out there, like a readers and writers workshop style, that we can utilize and then give the kids the keys to design. So this is kind of out of the blocks from Baltimore. There are Humans of New York style, Taste Buds a la Jamie Oliver, Debate Forward a la Intelligence Squared, but also debating for understanding and action instead of debating to win. And then acoustic ecology, connecting with mindfulness and nature in ways that we bring in sound and other sensory experiences. But what we actually want to show you today is we're going to focus a little bit on a program that we've just been running for this year, and it's called eco-photography. And what eco-photography does is it gets kids into the zone of basically asking, what is it that nature is teaching us? How do we utilize principles of harmony in nature to then inform us on how we can, be a better person on the inside, peace in oneself, so we have peace in the world, right? But then also with others, nature itself, and the greater society, right? And then again, the visual communication, writing artist statements, the curation pieces, these are all the things that we can do across, our different interdisciplinary subject areas, while also then reminding ourselves of the things that we need to be doing in the weeds in terms of learning how to learn and hitting some of those standards. And our eco-photography course kind of runs like this. You can see there's 7 courses, and then underneath the courses, these are each of the titles of the courses. And the kids get a chance to do different genres. And then we go through these principles of harmony with nature. So we're celebrating how nature is healthy. We're celebrating the diversity of nature, which means, diversity in nature usually means it's a healthier ecosystem. Well, why is that true or not true in our society, for example? And then we move into interdependence and how we were interconnected and we need each other to be healthy and diverse, and so on. It's a pretty fantastic model of key concepts. So you see here kids using architecture to look at their local communities, right? And you see here across kids getting into nature, kids, doing architecture, looking at geometry, meeting their neighbors. So they're enhancing the photography through interviews, capturing sounds of the streets. And just again, the idea of connecting with their local communities and, connecting with themselves. So it's quite spiritual in a way as well. It's really powerful, very mindful stuff. And here is just something we wanted to show you briefly. This is actually through a school that we work with just now called the Western Academy of Beijing. They have a thing every year called MadFest, where they bring music, drama, photography, and design into a every other day sort of space for 6 weeks. And the kids get to do a choice and deep dive. So Ivy and I got a chance to work on eco-photography with the students. And what you're going to see here in these is we set this forth to the kids and we say, hey, look, as a user of tech for good, right? In this case, photography, how are we using media and technology for digital wellness, to be more balanced, to be healthier, to be happier, and cultivate a deeper connection with nature, others, and ourselves? So what I'm going to ask us to do is we're going to just kind of do a silent gallery walk of a little bit of kids' work for a minute. See, think, feel. And we'll just come back to kind of what's in the green. And just again, imagine yourself in your classroom, your library, in your ecosystem of your school, using photography and using nature to start thinking about what that looks like in a civics, kind of launching into a more civic and mindful mindset. And I'll give about 20, 30 seconds each picture. These are all middle school kids. Briefly, you can see here, just like a Readers and Writers Workshop, we bring in mentor photographers. If you don't know Sebastião Salgado from Brazil, look him up. He is a genius. These are buildings in Beijing. Whenever I'm working with Ivy, I drive by every day. And again, you're seeing kids being mindful. They're connecting not only to their nature, but the built environment of humans, right? And it puts us in a space where we start to understand more about that idea of oneness, that idea of diversity, the idea of health, the idea of interdependence. And Ivy and I would argue that nature is a really great entry point because we live in a polarized society right now. And if we use nature as a place we can kind of, most people agree nature's pretty cool, right? And we allow that as a space to open up ourselves to these sort of key concepts that then lead us into more civic discussions on a level that's not quite so, I guess the word really is angry and rage filled at the moment, right? There's a lot of that polarization going on. There's a lot you can do with it. We'll also be putting in the chat a YouTube link that just has a video about 8 or 9 minutes of kids' slides like this, just to get you guys a little more into our space. And I know we don't have a lot of time. We'll share this PDF with you guys as well. We like to use quotes from professional photographers in order then to get the kids to also, we say, quote yourself, right? You know a lot too from your experience after you've done this. And giving the kids that idea of voice, whether it's visual voice, but also written voice. We also do some of this work with Flipgrid, for example, as well. So there's a lot of possibilities on how you can use eco-photography to level up a lot of the technology that you're already doing. Now, Ivy, we only have about 4 minutes. So I'm wondering if you want to just maybe talk through this challenge and we could sort of send people off during some breaks, but do you want to just get us into the space really quick?
Yeah, we have prepared, this activity for you to try because, we feel everything regarding nature and art, the best way to learn is for you to try yourself. So, if you are interested, maybe you can do this during the break or throughout the day and see, how you feel about that. It can also, maybe give you some sense of stillness, and happiness during the conference. So basically, these are all the harmonies of, harmony nature principles of nature that we introduce to kids. And then basically, we invite you to pick either 1 or 2 the principles that you resonate with most. And then, you go out in your surroundings, in your room, just walk about and then see, where you can see those values and then take a few photographs. And then, if we have the time to do this, then we would invite some of you to share your photos and talk about through the lens of, see, think, and feel. and then, feel what might have triggered, in you, and, how you might see the world a bit differently.
And guys, just to sort of launch off of what Ivy was saying, those of you that are interested in this type of work, we're actually offering a July summer experience. It's pretty, we call it kind of low stress, high impact, where it's an educator experience where we're going to have about 30 to 50 global educators, and hopefully some of you from New York would be fantastic to come in and join us. It's a couple hours a week of basically running the 7 modules that the kids just did. So you saw some of the output, trying it on, getting in that brain space, that mind space, that heart space, that hand space, and then being able to apply it to your classrooms right away. So there's a registration link that we'll be putting in the chat. And Lori also has been nice enough where you guys and New York teachers, you can actually get 20 hours for taking this month-long course this summer.
Yeah, Steve, again, I put it in the chat for everyone so that they have that information to be able to sign up. Whether you're inside New York or not, both of those links are in the chat. One of them will take you out to the Inspire Citizens site to be able to register. And then for New York educators, we're offering you 20 CTLE hours if you choose to do this in New York with us. So I put that link in the chat. For you, those of you in New York, it's for the My Learning Plan frontline registration. So you'll want to do that so you get your certificate. Thank you so much, Steve and Ivy. This was fabulous. I can't wait to dive into the course. Next month. I think it's going to be an absolutely amazing experience for everyone.